Hi, Sandra here, the Misophonia therapist. And today's question is, how can I support my child who has misophonia? And I often get asked if I work with children with misophonia, and the answer is yes, absolutely. Now, misophonia often develops in childhood, especially around puberty. And it can be linked in some cases to a more general experience of anxiety. Now, this video, however, is not intended to be an appraisal of why misophonia starts in childhood, but more around how you could support your child. And it's important to say that the following 3 suggestions are just based on my own experience and observations as a therapist who works with children. And not everything will work for everybody. So here are 3 ways that you could support your child who is experiencing misophonia. Number 1, children are still learning about the world and about their emotions. And it can, of course, be very frightening the first time a child feels a very negative emotion, such as anger, rage, or fear, when they hear the trigger sound, or even anyway. So the first tip is to allow the child to feel their emotion without making them feel wrong for it. So try not to overreact to your child's negative emotion if you can, by staying calm and just allowing them to express the emotion. And you're effectively giving them permission and space to feel. And like I said before, no emotion is wrong. We can't help what emotion comes up for us. It's really, really hard to directly control this, as you'll know. So the first step in supporting your child is to support them no matter what they are feeling. And the second tip is to use a very easily identifiable metaphor to explain emotion. And in my practice, I like to use the weather to help explain emotion to children. So one day it's sunny, another day it's cloudy, another day it's rainy, or sometimes all at once. Often the weather will change, and so do our emotions. Nothing stays the same for too long, and rather like the weather, a beautiful sunny day is likely to follow a rainy one. And the weather is something that children will readily be able to identify with. And number 3, help them to see that there are things within their control, and they do have choice available to them. Now, of course, we cannot control the weather. We might not be able to control a negative emotion when it comes up, especially when your child hears the trigger noise, but you can show them how to shift their attention onto something that makes them feel different, in particular, something that might make them laugh or to help them feel happy. So can they close their eyes and remember a fun day they had? Or could they choose to do something lovely and simple that might absorb their attention? Something that they themselves could choose to do. Now, I was working with a client recently who had the most beautiful idea of putting suggestions onto separate scraps of paper into a bottle. And she would shake them up and just pick one. And they included things like cuddling the dog, baking cookies, drawing a rainbow. So you get the drift. So to recap, no emotion is wrong. Let them feel the emotion without overreacting to it yourself. And relate emotions onto something that they will understand, like the weather, and finally helping them to refocus their attention onto something positive that they can choose for themselves. So I hope this helps. And if you're finding my content helpful, please subscribe or follow me. And as ever, do feel free to drop me a direct message, especially if you have any further questions or if you would like me to help your child. Thank you.